What is going on, baseball fans? Happy Friday night. Welcome to the very first Friday night Q&A. What is going on, everyone? Hello. Around 22 people. What's going on, everyone? You know, I wasn't going to go live tonight, and I just went to the gym a little bit ago. I got some energy. I got the endorphins running through my veins, and I figured, you know what, I'm kind of bored. And I was thinking about working on some content, but you know what, I've been just killing myself all week this week with work. Busy day at work today. We had the Christmas party today for my classroom. It wasn't really too much of a party, I would say. More just had some snacks for the class, watched some Christmas movies. We watched Elf today. We were watching The Grinch and ran out of time, couldn't finish it. But, you know, just tired this week. I'm going to start back up working on the content probably tomorrow. But I figured, you know what, I feel like I needed to do something tonight. You know, why not? Let's do a Q&A tonight. I did put a poll up this week asking if you all would want to do a Q&A. You know, just talking about whatever baseball, any free agency rumors, any trade rumors, any proposals, any ideas. You guys are running the show. You guys get to ask me the questions, and I will hopefully be able to give you the answers. Yeah, not even just baseball. Ask whatever you want. Anything, you know, anything for me or whatever it is. I'm here for all of you. Hope you all had a good Friday. Hope you all had a good day. But yeah, so there is, I guess, one thing I just want to cover, I guess, really quick before, you know, we just kind of start diving into the questions and whatnot. But we got a little bit of news on the St. Louis Cardinals. And again, really just tonight, just to, you know, not really like any kind of a news show tonight, just kind of hanging out here for a little while, maybe, you know, stay on for around an hour or so. But I do want to just cover this really quick. You know, hey, baseball news is pretty slow these days with this lockout. So figured, you know, hey, we've got a little news to talk about here, so let's talk about it. So the Cardinals, they're expected to prioritize the bullpen after the lockout ends. So they made the move for Steven Matz. They brought back TJ McFarland. So if we take a look at the Cardinals bullpen as of right now, so that's in the end, that's one thing that kind of came back to bite them in that wild card game. The bullpen just couldn't hang on. And let's just take a look here. So if we're taking a look at the positional depth charts here, taking a look here. Also, let me just get that music going. Here we go. We got a copyright-free playlist here for you. So, Stream Beats. If you ever need copyright-free music to use for any streams or whatever, Stream Beats. That's where it's at. But if we take a look at where the Cardinals rank, as of right now, the Cardinals don't have a really bad bullpen by any means. They don't rank particularly bad. If we take a look at the Cardinals, they're ranking number 11th right now. Giovanni Gallegos really came onto the scene last year took over that closer role. And, you still got a hard-throwing guy like Alex Reyes. Genesis Cabrera was pretty good last year. Like I said, they brought back TJ McFarland. With Jordan Hicks, this is a guy where he's just had a lot of injuries in the past. I mean, last year, only able to throw 10 innings overall. Hopefully, this is a guy that can really just get himself going, for next year. Did he have Tommy John? Did I miss something here with him? I don't think he had Tommy John, did he? No, I think he's gonna be good to go, right? So, Jacob, what's going on, my friend? How are we doing? Let me just actually shout out a few people here in the chat. We got Jacob, one of our members. Nicholas, one of our moderators. Hello. Dulcie Maris, what's going on? How are we doing? That hat looks really warm and comfy. Where did you get it? Actually, well, hey, the lady friend got it for me. I actually don't know where she got it from, but, So, I gotta ask her. I'm guessing it's, what brand is it? It's the 47 brand, so I guess just off their website. Good brand. I like their stuff. Jared Grant, what's going on, man? How you doing? Jeremiah Hardell. Casper, what's going on? Cameron, hello. Ed, what's going on? Hope, hello. How am I saying that right? Genetic? Sorry if I'm saying, whatever. Trade proposal, Red Sox trade for Andrew Benintendi for a haul of prospects. I don't know if we're going to bring Benintendi back. I mean, I'd be pretty stoked. I love me some Andrew Benintendi, some Benny baseball. Wouldn't mind bringing him back. What's going on? Bless Brian, my friend. Whatever I got to do to look all right, I guess. Thank you so much. Cubs Rule, what's going on? Cubs Rule. I just hopped on, my friend. We're just kind of hanging out. I wasn't planning on streaming tonight, and I got bored, so I figured we can hop on. But take a look at the Cardinals. Their bullpen's not looking too bad, if you ask me. I feel like they could use another arm. Definitely could use something. So, like we're talking about here, they are going to prioritize the bullpen. If we take a look here at the free agent tracker on Fangraphs, which has come in handy for me, for keeping up with all these free agents. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at relief pictures and the unsigned ones. So that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go out and sign a free agent. They could also, go on the trade market as well. I would think maybe a free agent might be better for them, just because I feel like they need to add to that farm system. I feel like they don't really need to be getting rid of anyone from that farm system right now. It doesn't rank particularly well, but you got some guys out here. Colin McHugh, Kenley Jansen, Ryan Tepera would be a nice one, I feel like. You got a lot of guys. Andrew Chafin. I mean, even someone like Joe Kelly. Hey, look at Joe Kelly. Could we see a Joe Kelly return to St. Louis? That'd be pretty fun. But you got a lot of guys here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cardinals scoop up one of these guys. Ryan Tepera, I feel like, would be pretty good. I mean, Colin McHugh, if he can just stay healthy, I feel like he's going to be a solid guy for any bullpen. I would probably think they're not going to go after someone like a Kenley Jansen. I wouldn't think that. Maybe someone more like a setup guy, middle relief. So I could see someone like Joe Kelly maybe. Maybe Colin McHugh. I feel like that'd be a solid arm. So, all right, everyone. Let's let's get back to you all here. What do you got for me? Let's do a question here. Let me pick out a question. We're up to 40 people in the chat. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Friday Night Q&A. Let's do our first question. What do we got? Someone give me something. Let me turn that volume down here. Eben 19, baseball trade values, trade with Yanks, Olsen and Manaea. I mean, I guarantee there's so many trades on there with Matt Olson and Manaea. Oh my God. There's probably so many. I mean, I think Matt Olson would be perfect for the Yankees. Perfect, to be completely honest. Orioles, is there any hope for Keyboom? I mean, I think there is. I mean, you got to remember, some of these prospects, some of the best players of all time, it's taken him a couple of years to get it going. I feel like Keyboom, he showed some things last year where, I think you could be, a little hopeful of him. Let me get this music turned off here. Let me turn it down a little bit. I feel like Keyboom, he showed some flashes last year. I think you got to give him just let him go. Just get him going. See what he can do over a full season. I wouldn't give up on him just yet. Do you think the Giants sign Carlos Rodon? I mean, Carlos Rodon would not be a bad idea for the San Francisco Giants, I think. I think he would be fantastic. Let's go take a look at the Giants pitching. Here we go. Actually, I can go to, let me look at their projected starting pitching. It's funny because the Giants had some of the best starting pitching last year, and now they're without Kevin Gausman, and you kind of just wondering what's going to happen with this Giants starting pitching. They added someone like Alex Cobb. I like their rotation. I think they're going to figure it out, and I think they're going to be a pretty good group of guys. It would be nice if you had someone to go along with the Logan Webb. When I think of a DeSclafani and Alex Wood, Alex Cobb, I feel like I'm looking at some 3s and 4s in a rotation. I think Alex Cobb could be a really solid 3. DeSclafani as well. I feel like you're really missing something. I mean, Kevin Gausman, it's a huge hole. Carlos Rodon, I feel like would be a nice fit. If we take a look here at the rotation, let me pull it up. Where are the Giants here? Let me pull up their page on Fangraphs here. I mean, take a look. I mean, they got one lefty with Alex Wood. I mean, maybe Carlos Rodon would be a nice piece. He could be your number 2. I feel like he'd be a nice piece. I mean, and he's not going to cost you. So the Giants, they're not wanting to, supposedly, according to reports, they're not looking to spend any, 9-figure, they're not looking to give anyone any 9-figure salaries. So Carlos Rodon most likely is not going to be getting anything over $100 million. If we actually go here, what is Fangraphs projecting him to get? Let's go to the starting picture. So Fangraphs, you're looking at anywhere maybe like 19 million, maybe 20 million. I don't know though. I feel like teams are going to be a little leery of a Carlos Rodon, to be completely honest with you. With Carlos Rodon, you just have the injuries. You got all this stuff going on with him. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. So, health-wise at least, he looked really good when he was healthy last year. He's one of the best starting pitchers in the American League. I feel like he'd be a great fit for the Giants. Maybe they can manage his innings a little bit. And, I wonder how long of a deal he's going to get. I wonder if he's going to get an incentive-laden kind of a deal, where, maybe years kick in if he pitches a certain amount of innings. I could see something like that. But I wonder if he ends up getting a 1-year deal. But Scott Boras was saying they're looking for a multi-year deal for him. So Carlos Rodon, on paper, I feel like he would be a great fit for the San Francisco Giants. What do we got here? Bless Brian. Where did I get the beanie? I was just saying that the lady friend got me the beanie. So she got it online. I'm guessing she got it off the 47 brand website. So Cole A009 heard the Astros are looking at Bryant as well as other teams. If he does sign, do you think they'll put him at third, Bregman at short? That seems to me, to be the most logical thing. Alex Bregman, I feel like would slide fine over back to shortstop. That was his natural position before. The good thing with Bryant is that you can move him around. And that's why you saw Bryant playing a lot of positions last year. Really maximized his value. And that's going to be huge. Any team he signs with, they're going to love that versatility. He'd be a good fit with the Astros. And especially if they do end up losing Correa, who I think, honestly, now, I think he really could be. I think he still could be a target for the Detroit Tigers, to be completely honest. According to the reports, we were talking yesterday saying that they offered him a 10-year, $275 million contract. So I think there's still a chance he could still go to Detroit, do what the Texas Rangers did. So for me, I think Chris Bryant would be a nice fit. So are you comfortable enough putting Alex Bregman back at shortstop? I think he would be fine. What else we got here? Let's see. Jeremiah Hardell. Will Clint Frazier have a bounce back year with the new scenery? Sometimes that change of scenery, getting into a new environment, I feel like it could be a huge thing. I feel it tends to happen with some of these Yankee players. They go to other teams and they end up doing better. I'm not saying all of them, but there have been some in the past where they've gone elsewhere and they've performed well. One guy that comes to mind, more a pitcher, Sonny Gray, didn't do very well with the Yankees. There's countless guys who have gone elsewhere. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but I think Clint Frazier, especially in a low pressure environment like Chicago, where not a lot of people are expecting them to compete this year, I feel like could be, a good environment for him. Really give him that just that environment to thrive. So Clint Frazier, I would love for him to have a bounce back season. He's a fellow Ginger. I mean, I'm always pulling for the fellow Gingers. What can I say? What do we got here? Yeah, Troy H. Giants need a top-end starter badly. I do love me some Logan Webb, man. I love me some Logan Webb, but it would be nice if he had someone to go along with him. Pride NL, what's going on, my friend? Trevor Story to the Giants, 1-2-year deal, second base. If Giants aren't doing too well, trade Story. Yeah, that's always possible, too. Wonder if that ends up being something Story does, where he takes maybe like a Marcus Semien-like 1-year deal. He didn't have a bad season last year by any means, but it wasn't really, wasn't really an overwhelmingly good season. He, hit some home runs, but the average was down. The on base was down a little bit. A lot of people thought actually he was playing through some kind of an injury where he has great range, but some of his throws were kind of off. So, some of it, he wasn't the most accurate when it came to his throws last year. He was really off target. But the range is still really good. So that's where some scouts think maybe he would be a good fit at second base. With the Red Sox, they've been looking at Trevor Story according to reports, and maybe they're looking at him to play second, because maybe they feel like his arm would play better there. I think if his arm is fine, if he's recovered from whatever was going on with him, to me he's the shortstop. I think he's a great shortstop. He's got way better range than Xander Bogaerts. But if the arm is, has kind of lost a step, then maybe second base would be a great fit. So if the Red Sox brought in Trevor Story, I would be stoked. But I think for the Giants, absolutely. I mean, he's used to playing out there. I don't see why that could be out of the question. I think Trevor Story would be a nice fit. Let's see. What do you think of the Red Sox winning it all anytime soon? I think for the Red Sox, they need to still keep building up that organizational depth, I believe, personally. They looked great last year. They really exceeded expectations. The Major League team, they really came together. I still feel like their depth is not quite there. I think when they have some more depth in their rotation, more depth in the bullpen, but I'm not just saying, like signing free agents and stuff like that. Having that organizational depth, guys that can come up from the minor leagues, have some kind of a spot start, fill in for the bullpen if a guy goes down. That's the kind of depth that I'm talking about. Those are those underrated moves throughout the season that can really go a long way, that can end up, those little moves, they add up. And when those little moves add up, that could mean, maybe even you winning a division. It's those little things that count. And the Red Sox, they need more depth. Their offense is starting to look pretty good in their minor league system, but they need more pitching out there. They need more pitching. So, Chester the Chicken Eater, yes, absolutely. Your question, will there be more content coming with a winter break from your school teaching? Yes, absolutely. Already today when I came home, I just felt re-energized almost. Like, I'm going to be honest with all of you. I'm going to become very honest with all of you. This year is killing me. Like, I love coming on here. I get so excited about coming on and streaming, but I'm going to be honest with you. My energy is down. Like, it's very down this year. I'm getting worked to the bone where I'm going to be honest with you. Whenever I've done some of these streams, I have shut down my computer. I have turned off my light and I've just gone to bed. Like, I'm exhausted. And like, there's times like I really want to work on content and I'll be sitting here at my desk and I'll be trying to work. I'll be trying to put together something, and I just can't. Like, it's like my brain just is fried. It's just fried. And it kills me because like I want to work, but like I just can't focus because I'm so tired. But yes, with Christmas break coming up, I'm already excited at the idea. I can't wait to wake up in the morning, not have to go to work, and just pump content. Like, that's what I love. If you remember going back to the summertime with the trade deadline, I was doing videos. I was putting like 2-3 videos a day. I was putting at least a video per day along with streaming. So when I have that time, when I have that energy, I love it. And that's why, I mean, I've talked to you all about this many times. This year, this is probably my last year teaching. I'm burnt out. I'm extremely tired. I'm just at a point where I want to focus on doing this channel because I love doing it. I love doing it. So, yeah, that's pretty much all there is there. But yes, Chester, absolutely. Let's see. Nicholas, what are the Braves' chances going back to back? I'm sure not high. It's very difficult. Honestly, I think the Braves are set up pretty nicely. You're getting Ronald Acuna Jr. back at some point next year. You still got good young starting pitching there. You got guys down in the minor leagues. I think the Braves are still set up to make a run. So, Jared Cole, what is it with the Orioles and pitchers dominating once they leave? Is it a farm system development issue, or are they just letting guys go too quickly? I mean, I think that's a big part of any organization. Do you have the right coaches in place? Do you have the right voices in place? Sometimes these can be really good coaches, and maybe they're just not in the right place. I'm not saying anything about the guys of the Orioles have in place, with developmental, but sometimes, I don't know. Maybe some of these pitchers, they're just clicking in other spots, in other teams where maybe these guys are just hearing things differently. I don't know. I think the Orioles, they got some really good young arms coming up. I'm hoping for the best. Well, as a Red Sox fan, I'm hoping not for the best. But as a baseball fan in general, I'm absolutely hoping for the best for the Red Sox. Yes, the Red Sox, but for the Orioles as well. Dulcie Maris, Jays considered trading Grichuk for JBJ, but JBJ wasn't a fit. Thoughts on the Jays trading Grichuk for Gregorius to play second and signing a lefty outfield? It makes sense, Dulcie Maris, to be completely honest with you. Gregorius, he has not been guaranteed the shortstop job for the Phillies. They got, you got other options there in Philly where I think you could possibly even maybe trade Didi Gregorius. His value is not good at the moment. He had a bad season last year, but the Phillies, for them, they could use a center fielder. Could you swap, not a great contract for not a great contract? It could be. That definitely is an option. Absolutely. BKR Sport, as a full-time sports streamer, man, I absolutely feel you. People don't get how tiring it is and draining it is. People keep doing you, man. Love your stuff. Hey, man, I appreciate you, my friend. It is, it's tiring. I will say doing content, it is tiring. Absolutely. But it's kind of one of those, I get tired, obviously from doing anything, really, if I'm putting my energy and focus into things. And absolutely. I mean, yeah, of course I'm going to get tired. Of course, we're all human. But I love doing it. I love getting exhausted at making content. Dude, there are times where I've stayed up until, I'm not kidding you, those free agent predictions that I did, for this year, I was staying up until like 2-3 in the morning working on it because I was working all day. And it was hard for me to, get them done. But I loved staying up. I didn't care that I was getting 3 hours of sleep. And I didn't care that I was going to school, going to work, on 4 hours of sleep. I'm someone where I can run on less sleep. So it didn't matter to me all that much. But when I did last year's free agent predictions, I stayed up until 5:30 in the morning. And I woke up at 7 o'clock, to go to work. I didn't care because I loved it. But yeah, it's this year though, it is, I don't know why. I don't know. My class, I will say, it's a difficult class this year. It's a very chatty group. It's a very unfocused group. They're very nice kids. But I'm exhausted. I've never been this exhausted before with a class. And I love these kids to death, but they are very needy. I mean, I teach second grade in case any of you don't know, but it's a very needy group, and it's been tiring. It's been very tiring. So, Jeremiah, what's going on? Should the Cubs trade Rafael Ortega or Jason Hayward since Cubs top prospect Brennan Davis is coming up next year? I mean, honestly, if you can trade Jason Hayward, I mean, you do it. But who's going to take him? Who's going to take that contract? I mean, honestly, I think with Jason Hayward, I think they look at him as like a veteran guy where, he's almost good for the young players. I feel like, if you go back to when the Cubs won the 2016 World Series, this is a guy where he held a team meeting during that rain delay. He's a leader. Jason Hayward is one of those guys where when he talks, people listen. And even when he's struggling, he is still very well respected. He's a hardworking guy. I think for the Cubs, sure, you would love to be able to get rid of that money, but I feel like they're almost okay with maybe keeping him just because of how the person that he is. I think they love having him around there. I think for right now they're probably fine. But I think I could see them maybe trying to get out of that contract. But at the same time, though, his value is not high. That's the only problem with Jason Hayward. It's not high. That's the only thing. Who's going to want to take on that salary? So I think for the Cubs, they're kind of stuck with him almost. They're going to have to ride it out. We'll have to wait and see. But Troy H, hey man, appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate it. Hey, we're up to 72 people in the chat. Hey, Friday night Q&A. We might have to make the Friday night Q&As a thing. Wizardy Plays, what's going on? I have not been here in a hot minute. It has been a minute, hasn't it, Wizardy Plays? What's going on? Welcome back, my friend. Street Sports, do you think the Dodgers start to crumble, or do they keep spending money and keep their all-star team? I think the Dodgers, they're going to a point right now where they need to get under that luxury tax line again. They need to get back under it. They need to reset it. They've been over that luxury tax line now for, I think, a few years. The more you go over that line every single year, the more fines you're going to have to pay, the more international signing money you're going to lose. It's kind of one of those things. I feel like the Dodgers, they would love to reset that if they could. They got a lot of young players coming up, and I think they would love to be able to give these guys chances. That's why I think they were okay with Corey Seager going, because it opened up a spot there for Trey Turner. That opened up second base. You can finally give Gavin Lux, if that's the direction they go. That could be that was a guy who was a top prospect at one point. Give this guy a chance. Give Gavin Lux a chance. See what he can do over a full season. And I think you can do that because the Dodgers lineup is really good. And Gavin Lux can kind of just hang out in the back, and kind of work on whatever he's got to work on. And who knows, maybe he ends up being really good. The potential's there. What's going on? It's old news now, but what did you think about the Hunter Renfroe trade the Red Sox did? Yeah, a lot of the mainstream media out there, even other baseball YouTubers out there were, calling it like a confusing trade. It didn't make sense. It made a lot of sense. When you really look at the trade itself, it made a lot of sense. For the Red Sox, you're trying to add prospects any way you can. And I'm going to say this right now, some of these other baseball YouTubers out there, I don't understand, because it's like, you got a guy in Chaim Bloom, and I'm not saying this from a biased point of view. I'm saying it from just an analytical point of view. You got this guy, Chaim Bloom, who's been making moves. Even at times when he's made certain moves, you're kind of like scratching your head a little bit. But look what happened with the Red Sox this past year. Chaim Bloom did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was going to add more depth. He was going to add more versatility. And look what happened to the Red Sox this year. Yeah, they fell short, but they didn't have the depth. They didn't have the depth that they need. They had the versatility. They had the flexibility. And look what they did. The trade for Hunter Renfroe and Jackie Bradley Jr., I thought made a lot of sense. With the Red Sox, you're getting Jackie Bradley Jr., where I believe he has 1 year left on that deal. And I think he has a team option for the next year. But with Jackie Bradley Jr., this is a guy the Red Sox know fully well. They probably already see what's going on with him. They probably see a mechanical thing going on, and they feel like they can probably get him back on track. With Jackie Bradley Jr., you can go a few different ways. You can, if you want to have him be a starter, you can, because defensively he can hold his own out there and then some. But with Jackie Bradley Jr., if you can get that left-handed bat going, that could be great, and your defense is going to improve. The Red Sox, despite Hunter Renfroe not despite Hunter Renfroe having a lot of outfield assists last year, he was not great defensively. His range out there wasn't very good. Hunter Renfroe was a bit of a liability out there. He made up for it a bit with his arm, but consistently, Hunter Renfroe was not the greatest defensive option, especially in a spacious right field at Fenway Park. He was a bit of a liability out there. Jackie Bradley Jr. slides into right field, and I think he ends up being a really good option. If you don't want him to be your starter for next year, you could still go after a right-handed bat, Seiya Suzuki. Seiya Suzuki would slide in nicely, and Jackie Bradley is essentially your fourth outfielder. He's now your platoon bat, where you got that lefty bat off the bench where he can platoon. So I like Jackie Bradley Jr. on the Red Sox, but most importantly, they were able to bring in a couple of prospects. They brought in a third base prospect. And if we take a look, let me actually go pull that trade up. Let me go. Hunter Renfroe. I forgot his name. I am so sorry. I'm usually good at remembering these names. Let's pull up the trade here. Here we go. What was his name again? It was a third base prospect. Oh, Alex Binelas. Alex Binelas, I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's a third base prospect with power, and he's a left-handed bat. It just so happens Rafael Devers has not been offered a contract extension yet, and he's going to be a free agent in a couple of years. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying this is the guy that's going to eventually take over for Rafael Devers, but if you're not able to get him signed up to an extension, at least you have a power-hitting left-handed third baseman down in the minor leagues where maybe he could slide in. It's an option, possibly. So I think it was a good trade. I think it was a really good trade. It was approved on baseball trade values. Again, I saw a lot of baseball YouTubers, a lot of mainstream media, and they were just like, they made it sound like it was like this really confusing trade because on the surface, yeah, Jackie Bradley Jr., he had a bad season. It was not a good season by any means. Of course, I can see that. But there's a lot more that goes into it. Chaim Bloom has been on the record saying if there's a way for him to add quality prospects into the minor league system, he will do it however he can. It's that he has said that. He's been on the record of saying that, and that's exactly what he did. So Chaim Bloom, he's an unpredictable guy. You don't know what he's going to do. Bernie De Leon, what's going on? How are we doing? Can we get a prediction on Bauer? I think Bauer is going to be in the Dodgers rotation next year. Simple as that. I think that whole case is going to get thrown out. A lot of people are going to feel a certain type of way about it. They're going to look at Trevor Bauer. They're going to have their feelings about Bauer. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to get thrown out. I'm not defending anything. I'm not picking a side. I'm not doing any of that. But I think just in the end, there's not going to be enough evidence, or there will be enough evidence to exonerate him. I just don't think it's going. I don't think he's going to be. He's making all the YouTube videos. He's back. He's all over social media again. I think that's a sign that eventually he's going to get cleared. So there's a lot of stuff from the other side, from the woman that was involved, where there's a lot of evidence against her. And people, I'm not defending the situation in any means. I feel like that whole thing probably could have been handled better. I mean, I'm not going to dive into the details. That whole thing probably could have been handled way better. But I think a lot of people are kind of jumping to it with feelings. And I think there's a lot of facts that are going to come out. I'm not defending Trevor Bauer by any means. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you are innocent until proven guilty. We need to stop this whole you're guilty until proven innocent. And, again, I'm not defending him by any means. I'm just saying I think there's going to be I think the fact that he's on social media, he's on Twitter, he's doing the YouTube videos again. I think the fact that he's doing all that again after taking a whatever how many month absence he took, I think that says something. I think he's going to get cleared. So simple as that. But he will be in the Dodgers rotation next year. Unless the Dodgers they'll just find a way to get rid of him. I guarantee you, I think a team out there will take him. Hey. So look how good he was pitching with the Dodgers before he left. So, Jared Cole. Hey, Chester the Chicken Eater, I like it. Truthfully Thursday. I don't know, I feel like Friday might be a good night for Q&A. I feel like I thought about maybe Wednesdays, like I can call it like whatever Wednesday, kind of just talk about whatever, I feel like it's that middle of the week, Q&A for Wednesday night actually might be pretty good. I usually don't go live on Friday nights. I'm usually up to something. It's kind of like my social night, I would say, where I, go grab a drink, go get something to eat. I thought about actually going to the movies tonight and seeing the new Spider-Man. Supposedly it's amazing. Has anyone seen Spider-Man? Has anyone seen it? I hear it's really good. I hear it's phenomenal. So, but I'm not going to the movies on a Friday night because it's going to be packed. So I'm always, when I go to movies, I actually haven't been to the movies in a long time, but whenever I go to the movies, I'm that kind of a guy that likes to go in the morning or the afternoon because like no one's there. I get more room to myself, But what was this one here? Jared Cole, what's going on? List them in order of who gets called up first to last, who will make the biggest impact on their team. You got Rushman, Witt, Julio Rodriguez, Torkelson, and Green. I would say, I think Rushman. No, you know what? I think Torkelson starts out the year with the Tigers. That's my prediction. I think he's going to start out the year with the Detroit Tigers. I feel like he just gets the job in spring training. He's just that advanced. I think I'm going to go Torkelson, Rushman. I think Witt, Bobby Witt Jr., can we just get this guy up? I'm going to go Torkelson, Adley Rushman, Bobby Witt Jr., and then I'll go Julio Rodriguez and then Riley Green. So I think Julio Rodriguez and Riley Green, we're not going to see them until at least after the All-Star break. So David Matos, what's going on? Hot take as a Yankee fan, not a fan of trying to have all power hitters. Yeah, I agree. I think you need a healthy dose, a nice healthy balance of a little bit of everything. Some guys that can hit for power, guys that can just get hits, guys that can get walks. I think you need a balance. Bernie De Leon, it's a difficult situation, but he will never suit up for the will he ever suit up for the Dodgers again? Make a rotation, a top 5. Realistically, Buehler, Urias, Bauer, Kershaw, and May is. Oh yeah, absolutely. Trevor Bauer, whatever you may think of him, however you may feel about him, he's gonna pitch well. I guarantee. I guarantee all of the Dodger fans out there. I don't like to talk for all of you, but let's be real here. Let's be real. All of those guys, everyone out there where they're thinking, oh, Trevor Bauer, I don't want this guy on my team. He was, involved in that whole thing. I guarantee he comes back, after he pitches a few good games, you probably forget all about it. And all of a sudden, Trevor Bauer is your favorite pitcher again. So, Evil Otto, I will cheer any team who extends Old Man Cologne a spring trade. Let's get Bartolo Colon back. Yeah, Chris Flohr, I agree. Yeah, that was another thing about Hunter Renfroe, too. You had to take advantage of that trade value because you hadn't seen Hunter Renfroe really perform the way he did. So if you had a chance to sell high on him, you take it. Next gen breaks, Blaze Jordan. I feel like we're going to see, maybe it really depends on Blaze Jordan. When he moved up to a higher level last year, he did struggle a little bit. Let me actually pull up Blaze Jordan here. He got off to a really hot start in the minor leagues last year. And when he moved up to single A, let me actually show you here. When Hunter Renfroe, Potato Brain is kicking on. When Blaze Jordan, when he went up to single A, he struggled. So with rookie ball, this guy was on fire. He had a 362 average, a 408 on base, 667 slugging. He had 4 homers and 19 RBIs. Then he moved up to single A, played 9 games. He only hit 250, 289 on base. The slugging was 444, so it's not horrible, but I'm really excited to see what he can do next year. So I think with Blaze Jordan, I think you're looking at a couple of years. I'm thinking that with Blaze Jordan. So what are we going on? What's going on? Jimmy Productions. Hello, Robbie. I think the Nationals have a sneaky good rotation, especially with their top prospect, Cade Cavalli. He will be in the rotation at some point next season. Hey, man, Cade Cavalli. Let's pull him up, too. Let's see. What do we got here for Cade Cavalli? Let's pull up. Oh, did I type in his name wrong? Cade Hold on. Cade. Also, I want to say this too. I got to give a shout out. The inspiration behind the Q&As is Tom Grossi. I don't know if any of you know Tom Grossi. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He does he talks football. He talks about the Packers. He's got a big YouTube channel. Big shout out to him because, I see him doing these Q&As on Friday nights, and I'm like, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. So big shout out to Tom Grossi. Let's pull up the stats here for Cade Cavalli. He did well last year, except for AAA. He did not do well at AAA. He had a 7.30 ERA, but overall in the minor leagues, he did look good. He looked great in high A ball. He looked great at AA. He had 11 starts in AA. But I think, give him some more time. Very well, you could see him. Absolutely. If we take a look here at the Nationals rotation, let's pull up the Washington Nationals. Let's see here. As of right now, this rotation, it feels like it needs something. You have Steven Strasburg. You have Patrick Corbin. You have Josiah Gray. And then you got Rogers and Espino, or kind of question marks back here. Espino, he did all right last year, I guess. But I think you need something. You're relying on Patrick Corbin to keep trying to find his way again. It's a big contract, so you're really hoping he can turn himself around. Josiah Gray, he looked good in the beginning when he went to the Nationals, and then he kind of started getting hit pretty hard. So I think a guy for this rotation would really help, and if Cade Cavalli can really take a step forward next year, that's going to be a huge lift. And you know what? Let me actually pull up here. Nationals top prospects. Alrighty. So as of right now, and then don't forget about, Jackson Rutledge. I'm pretty excited to see what he can do. Pretty much, he was in the lower levels last year. His numbers didn't look very good. I'm hoping that he can get himself right. Because in 2019, over 10 starts, he looked pretty good. So, and that was between rookie ball, split squad, and A ball. Actually, how did he do in A ball? He was good in A ball that year over 6 starts. So you're hoping, he can get himself back on track. And hopefully, maybe he can be something. But right now, Cade Cavalli is looking like the guy that you could see very soon. So, absolutely, Cade Cavalli can come back up, or can come up next year. I think the Nationals, they're a couple year or two away. I think it's going to be a bit of a retool year for the Nationals, and hopefully they can get some of these young guys up. So, if I'm looking also, you got Geraldo Carrillo. He's pretty much looking at his stats. They're saying here he's pretty much major league ready according to the timeline, but his numbers weren't great last year. So, but yeah, taking a look as well. Cole Henry's still far away. You got guys like Matt Cronin, Tim Cate. Could they maybe take a step forward? Cronin last year looked good in rookie and high A ball, but double A didn't look all that great. But he's a bullpen guy, though. So Cronin, look for him maybe in the bullpen. And then for Tim Cate, I don't know, his double A numbers weren't great. 5.31 ERA, 2-10. So the Nationals, I think they need to really start trying to add some pieces to that farm. What else we got here? Evan, what's going on, my friend? Do you think the Brewers will pick up a big bat for the DH if it comes to the NL? I mean, if there's one team that could use a bat, there's a couple teams in the National League that can use a bat, the Marlins, but the Brewers, absolutely. That offense last year, even after getting Willy Adames, was still not great. It was better with him. But Hunter Renfroe, he's essentially replacing Avisail Garcia. I think you're taking a bit of a step back defensively. But yeah, they're a team where they could really use someone like a Nelson Cruz. I feel like that would be a great fit. They definitely could benefit from the universal DH. Apollo, what's going on? Do you think the Astros should try to trade for Nimmo? I feel like I've been hearing some stuff about Nimmo. I've been seeing his name a lot. Let me actually see here. I feel like I don't know if I saw something about him. I don't know. Maybe I read it something on Twitter. Oh, Twitter, the greatest place on earth. That's where all the truth and all the good opinions are out there. I basically use Twitter to just, I don't know, just kind of post whatever I'm thinking, or I like the GIFs. That's my favorite. I love the GIFs on Twitter. So, but Brandon Nimmo, would the Mets think about possibly trading him? Let me go over here. Let's come back here. Alrighty. So Brandon Nimmo, as of right now. Babic Productions, what's going on, my friend? Thank you for subscribing. Hello. Brandon Nimmo, as of right now, he's the right fielder. If Starling Marte indeed is the center fielder, Nimmo, when he was healthy last year, he was good. Hit 292, 401. But what would the Astros give up for him? Oh, here we go. Let's go to our favorite website, Baseball Trade Values. Let's think about some trades here. What do we got? Astros. I don't think the Mets end up trading him. I don't know. The Mets right now, if you're looking at their bench, you got Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil just, not too long ago was pretty good. Last year was a bit of a down season. But 2020, he was really good. 2019, he was really good. He had a down season last year. It looked like he was battling through some injuries. I don't think you should give up on Jeff McNeil. The one thing I'm wondering is Robinson Cano going to be the guy? Is he going to be your second baseman? I don't know. What is Robinson Cano up to? I got no idea. But with Brandon Nimmo, I feel like they probably hang on to him because he's a really good on-base guy. If we take a look at his value, looking at his value, he's still got a good value. I feel like the Mets don't get rid of him. The Astros, Bigfoot Sports Cards, what's going on? How are we doing, my friend? Welcome. I feel like the Mets hang on to him. The Astros could totally use a center fielder. You don't know what's going on with their center field right now. But, I feel like Nimmo, I think he ends up staying put. What do the Astros give up for him? I don't know. What do you give up for Nimmo? Let's say, let's take a look here. I don't know. Do you give up Pena? I don't know. If you're not going to have Carlos Correa back, Jeremy Pena is looking like your guy. David Matos, what's going on? How are we doing? Hello. We got a subscriber party going on here. If anyone is new, hey, consider subscribing. We're trying to get to 20K by opening day. I don't know. What do you even send back for Nimmo? That's the one thing with the Astros right now. A bit of a thin farm system. Can you do Forrest Whitley? Forrest Whitley going back to the Mets. And then maybe someone like a, I don't know. I'm wondering, who is the guy you could send back? I feel like Pena, you hang on to him. If we go to the top prospects here, I don't know. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Sorry, I gotta go to the Astros. Houston, where are you at? There we go. Your top prospect, Corey Lee. You're not getting rid of him. I feel like you're not going to get rid. They have such a thin farm. You know what? I don't think they're going to get rid of these guys. I don't know. I don't see it. I personally think Nimmo stays. That's just my opinion. He would definitely help them though. Here we go. Bernie De Leon, that's a good question. What organization do you see having a rebuild soon? I wonder. You gotta wonder here if the Padres, if they end up struggling again this year, and then next year, do they just blow the whole thing up? Because their farm system's pretty thin now. If we go to Fangraphs, let's go to the board. let's go to the board on Fangraphs. Let's take a look at the organizational rankings when it comes to farm systems. So if we take a look at the farm rankings, I mean, right now, San Diego, they were the number 1 farm system at one point, and now they're number 18. So I'm just saying, I'm gonna be on the lookout for the Padres over the next couple of years. Are they gonna win this thing? Are they gonna do something? And they got a good looking team, but big disappointment for the Padres. And what if they do it? What if they disappoint again? Do you end up just blowing this up? Do you get rid of Machado? Do you trade away Grisham? Fernando Tatis Jr., he's there for the long haul. Do you trade away Cronenworth? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that might sound ridiculous, but if you don't win again this year, if you're the Padres, what do they do? What do they do next year? I mean, I'm just saying, their farm system right now, it's not looking great. I still remember on Twitter last year, when they were trading for Yu Darvish, I was thinking, I tweeted out, I forgot exactly what I said, but I was like, well, what are they going to give up for Yu Darvish? And obviously they did make the trade, but my point was they had gotten rid of a lot of prospects, and all these Padres fans came after me. And, and I'm like thinking, okay, I had people insulting me on Twitter, and here's me laughing my way to the bank when the Padres didn't make the playoffs. So all you, silly Twitter Padres fans out there coming after me. Yeah, who's laughing now? But taking a look, for the Padres, you still got a really top-heavy farm. You got C.J. Abrams. You got Luis Campusano. Robert Hassel. What's going on with Mackenzie Gore? I don't know. But after that, it's pretty thin. I mean, you got some guys in the 10 through 20 range who, you got a couple here. Reggie Lawson. You got Rosario, maybe, who could help. Ethan Elliott's doesn't look too far away. But when it comes to top heavy, once these guys come up, if hopefully Mackenzie Gore can get himself back on track, but I wonder if the Padres are a team that could go into a rebuild. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but let's take a look at some other ones. I think for the White Sox, that team is still very young. The Phillies, probably not the Phillies. Let's see, rebuild. Who could really just sell away everyone? Well, the Cubs are the latest. Because you got to think, who are some teams that really need some farm system help? When the Cubs, they're number 7 right now. They were not number 7 last year at this point. They were down near the 20s. So their farm system really improved with all the trades they made. I'd probably say Cincinnati. Maybe Cincinnati just goes full-blown rebuild. They got major league pieces that they could trade away. Surprisingly enough, Kansas City does not rank very well when it comes to their farm. So I wonder if they just go full-blown, all right, we're just going to stink for the next 3 years, but we're going to just let our young guys just develop. Houston. We're talking about Houston. Could Houston be the team? Could the Astros be an organization where, how much time do they have? When we're looking at the Houston Astros, you're starting to kind of slowly lose your good players. You lost George Springer. Are you going to lose Correa too? I'm just saying, you could trade away Jose Altuve and get something. You could trade away Michael Brantley and get something. Alex Bregman, you could definitely get something. You got young guys here, though, that you can work with. So I wonder if they sell away some of these guys eventually. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I like their starting rotation if it's healthy. Bullpen is still pretty good. I still like the offense even without Carlos Correa. But I would say those teams, I would probably say the Astros, the Padres, and I'd probably say those two teams, and maybe the Nationals. The Nationals still have some players. They are kind of already going through a rebuild, I would say, but go full blown. You still got some guys that you could get some value for. Juan Soto's not going anywhere. I still think they're trying to be competitive. But I think what a lot of teams are trying to do, a lot of teams are trying to retool instead of rebuild. So they're trying to still stay competitive while also trying to nurture the farm as well. What do we got here? What do we got? Bigfoot Sports Cards. What's going on? How do you think Walker and Gorman affect the Cardinals infield in the next few years? I'm really excited for Jordan Walker. I wonder if Jordan Walker... So let me actually go over here to the St. Louis payroll. What do we got here? Hey, you guys have been awesome coming out here for Friday night Q&A, and we're consistently around like 80 to 100 people. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Haven't done a Q&A before. And, hey, we might have to keep doing these. But here we go. For the Cardinals, well, Goldschmidt and Arenado's there for the long haul. He does have an opt-out after this year. Will Arenado opt out? I don't think he will. Goldschmidt, he's not a free agent until 25. I don't know. I wonder, do you get yourself in a situation where the Cardinals, where maybe these guys are knocking on the door, Gorman and Walker. I mean, Walker's still far away. You can kind of hold off on him, but Nolan Gorman, this is a guy he hit really well last year. 279 average, 25 home runs. I mean, what do you do with Nolan Gorman? Now, this is where I think the universal DH really will come in handy, where you can bring up Gorman and you can give him at-bats at the designated hitter spot. The good thing with Nolan Gorman is he can also play second. So that is something where you can probably find him a spot. At second base right now, you got Tommy Edman. The good thing with Tommy Edman is you can move him around. He can play in the outfield. Second base is his home. But you can move him, and the thing is like, there's not a lot of wiggle room, and you got your corners locked up for the long haul. So, I don't know. Could you see a situation where, if you can Nolan Gorman play first? Can he play first base? Gorman's biggest gains have come on the defensive side, thanks mainly to his dedicated work with infield coach Jose Oquendo. Gorman, who came up as a third baseman, has received the bulk of his playing time at second. Arenado manning the hot corner. A switch to second is Gorman's quickest path to the majors, and he's handled the switch well. While there are questions about his first step, his plus arm certainly plays at second base in his bat. Yeah, so that seems to, could you trade away a Tommy Edman? I could see teams finding him pretty valuable because he has versatility. He brings something to your team. I almost look at Tommy Edman as like a Brock Holt, kind of, if that makes any sense. Maybe not as versatile as a Brock Holt, but can we get Brock Holt back on the Red Sox, please? Is that possible? But I would think Tommy Edman is probably a guy where even if you don't trade him away, he's a guy that can be on your bench. You still got Paul DeJong on there. I don't know. So the Cardinals, I think you can find a home for Gorman. He'll just slide into second base, and then Edman can just be your utility guy. But let's say you're in a situation where Arenado, Goldschmidt are still, playing very well, and Jordan Walker comes up. Jordan Walker, this is a guy that's going to be like Jermaine Dye. He's a big dude. And but Jordan Walker, could you maybe move him to another position? Athletic for his size, the hope is for Walker to remain at third base, where he has spent the entirety of his brief professional career. However, if he loses some quickness and he continues to grow, his above-average arm and power bat would profile well at either talking is hard, first base or a corner outfield spot. So I think something just opens up. If these guys keep playing at a high level, I think something just eventually it'll figure itself out. I think so. So those are two exciting players for the St. Louis Cardinals. What do we got here? What do we got? Let's see here. Matthew Pope, I just don't think the Mets trade Nimmo unless they get blown away with something. I think they like him there. He's just so good at getting on base. Yeah, Roman Johnson, Mackenzie Gore. Could you maybe trade away Mackenzie Gore and get maybe a couple of really young prospects for him? I don't know. I feel like with the Padres, you want Mackenzie Gore to be pitching well. They really could have used him last year. And unfortunately, he just didn't have it together. Jared Cole, if the Padres blow it all up, is Tatis untouchable, or would his prospect haul be too tempting? I wonder if teams would actually use his injury history, his health history as leverage. I wonder if teams are going to be like, nah, we're not going to break the bank for him because the guy's always hurt. So I think Fernando Tatis Jr., sure, he has the big contract, but I think for the Padres, he has to show that he's healthy, because I wonder if teams will even consider. He'll definitely get a lot. But I don't think will the teams really go head over heels considering he hasn't been able to stay on the field. So, Mr. Sports, what's going on? Do you see this strike being over before spring training starts? Yeah, I think so. My prediction is mid-January. I think we're going to see this for another month. That's what I'm thinking. CeeDee Lamb. Whoa, CeeDee Lamb is in the chat. Robbie, do you like the NFL? Oh, we got a super chat. Baseball sports talk. What's going on? What do you think of the Phillies' chances of signing Story with Didi and Stott? I think Story is a nice, I think he would be nice for the Phillies. I just don't think he's a great fit. I think they need another left-handed bat. They need a guy that gets on base. I think Trevor Story, he just had a down year last year. I think Bryson Stott, go with him. Go with the young guy. Go with the energy in a Bryson Stott. I think Trevor Story is a better fit on many other teams. I mean, sure, they could fit him, but do they really need to spend the money on him? I don't think so. I saw Draftnik Mark, said hey, I think Trevor Story would be a great fit for the Phillies. I disagree. I don't think it's a great fit. Because I think Kyle Schwarber would be a better fit. They could use another outfielder. They could use a guy at the top of their order. They could use a left-handed bat. I think Kyle Schwarber makes a lot more sense for the Phillies than Story. So Draftnik Mark, I do personally disagree. Sure, Trevor Story, they'll find a way for him to play there, obviously, but is he the most effective guy to add to your team? I mean, he'll make you better, but I think they could make themselves better in other ways and for cheaper. That's just what I think. CeeDee Lamb, let me get back to you. Do you like the NFL? If so, what is your favorite NFL team? Do you like fantasy football? So I haven't, funny enough, I've been paying attention so much to baseball. I've fallen out a little bit with the NFL. I need to kind of get back on track a little bit, but I've always been a Patriots fan. I used to live in Massachusetts, so that's why I'm a big Red Sox fan. But hey, the Patriots are playing great. I haven't fully kept up. I know Mac Jones has been playing great. So, yeah, I do play fantasy football. All my friends, they laugh at how bad I am at fantasy football. I actually started out 5-1 this year, and there were times I forgot to set my lineup, and I just ended up losing 6 straight weeks. And, yeah, I'm terrible. What can I say? Sports with AJ, what's going on, my friend? Welcome. The Astros need to build around Tucker, Alvarez, Garcia. I agree, Apollo Sports. I love me some Kyle Tucker. Jared Cole, the White Sox are a product of an easy division and aren't nearly as talented as the record suggests. I think there is a lot of talent with the White Sox. I felt like they weren't as good as you thought they would be last year. They were a little underwhelming to me. Edmund 19, I appreciate that, my friend. Colt Rug, what's going on? Love me some Q&A. Just went from one Q&A live stream to this one. Hey, is there another Q&A out there in the baseball world? Do we got any other baseball YouTubers doing a Q&A? I might have to keep doing these Q&As, man. I kind of like doing them. Tom Ferris, what are the Padres going to do with that one dang Hosmer contract? I don't know. What the heck are they going to do with it? They don't have the prospects to be able to make up the negative equity on that contract. So, of course, they do have some prospects they could partner with him. Let's go to baseball trade values. Let's take a look here. I was doing one the other day with the Cubs, and the Padres, because I guess a while ago, the Padres and the Cubs, they were talking about Eric Hosmer. So for the Padres, with Eric Hosmer, the thing that seems to make a lot of sense is pairing him with a prospect and or cash. I would think and cash would make sense. But for Hosmer, the example that I put up the other day was pair Hassel with him and also pay cash. So I think if you pay his salary for this year, I know that, or at least maybe pay like $10 million for maybe like $10 million for the next 2 years or something. That ends up putting you in the positive equity. So now for the Padres, you can get someone else back. So you can maybe get someone, maybe like a major league ready guy that can help you. Maybe someone like let's see. Because the thing with the Padres, let me go to the Padres here. What could they use? If you were to trade away Eric Hosmer, maybe you could get a first baseman back. So that's possible. Because right now, the one thing you could do is if you traded away Eric Hosmer, you could do Ha-Sung Kim somewhere, and then you could move someone to first. So maybe you could put Ha-Sung Kim at second and Cronenworth can play first. So Cronenworth played first last year 24 times. So I don't necessarily think you need to get a first baseman back. Could you bring back a Schwindel? Sure. On paper, this works. But, I would think, why would the Cubs want to have two first basemen? Two left-handed hitting first. Or I'm saying his name wrong again. Oh, no, Schwindel. That's what it was. I'm sorry. I'm saying Schwindel. Schwindel. But yeah, so if we go to the Cubs, I just don't think... never mind, he's a righty bat. I'm thinking he's a lefty. So, I guess you could... I don't know. You could have that platoon, but I don't know. I think Schwindel was fine last year. If I remember his numbers correctly, I think he was fine against both lefties and righties. Yeah, he was fine. Overall, last year he hit 326. He hit 324 against lefties and 327 against righties. So, I don't know. I don't know. On paper, this works. I don't know if you'd want to do it if you're the Cubs. Would you want to? And because the big thing here, the big thing the Cubs would be getting back would be Hassel. So that's the one thing. If you didn't do cash, let's say we got rid of the cash, and you would need to put a better prospect to get you out of that equity. So taking a look here, do you give up Abrams? That sounds ridiculous. Would you really give up Abrams? But in this case, at least the Padres would get something back. They would get, something back. Let's just see. I'm not saying this is a good idea, but let's see what it would look like. Take Schwindel off. And then for the Cubs, you could maybe send back something. I don't know. If you look at the Padres, what could they use? I feel like you could use an upgrade over Will Myers. The on base wasn't bad with him. Oh man, I'm gonna have to plug in my iPad here in a second. I feel like they could use someone with a good batting average, someone that really gets on base. The one guy I think of, the one guy I think of here. Ian Happ looked really good down the stretch. Could you maybe find a home for Ian Happ somewhere? He's a switch hitter. So I feel maybe something like that. Could you do a pitcher? Maybe someone like an Adbert Alzolay. I don't know. I mean, on paper, I don't know if this works in theory, but on paper it works. So, to me, I just wonder, Hosmer, he's going to be very difficult to get rid of. If you're going to just go a prospect, the one that makes sense to pair with him is Abrams. With cash, it's hassle. Unless, I don't think Gore has the value. Right now, his value is shot. He has the 13.9. Could you do Gore? I don't know. You're still looking at a pretty... if you look at the contract for Eric Hosmer, I believe it's an opt-in after this year, right? Or he can opt out after this year. So if he opts back in, he's going to get paid $13.5 million for the next 3 seasons. So I don't know. If you're so let's say, let me go back to his contract. Let me go back to the depth chart here. I don't know. So that would be what? That's 39. So you're looking around 40 million. I don't know. You're basically paying the rest of his contract anyway. You're at least according to his value. So I don't know. I feel like that it would make more sense to put a higher value prospect right now. So, because that's the whole point of trading Eric Hosmer, is to lower your payroll and to open up a roster spot. So if their goal is to open up a roster spot, then yeah, give Gore, Hosmer, pay a lot of that. Or because the thing is you're not going to give him money if he's not going to. That's the thing. Like, you're not going to. If you don't know if he's going to opt back in, so why would you give him all that money? So that doesn't make any sense. He's going to get $20 million this year. So that's the one thing you could say, all right, we'll pay $10 million this season. If he opts back in, after that, we'll pay some of that too. I don't know. I don't know how that works exactly. Can you give cash even if he's not opted back in? I don't know. So I guess that's an agreement I guess you could do. I don't know. It's going to be either way. Basically, it's going to be tough to get rid of Hosmer. So it is going to be tough. Let me do a couple more Q&As here. Let me do a couple more, and I'll let you guys get on with your Friday night. Bigfoot Sports Cards, Harrison Bader's trade value. Let's take a look here. I like me some Harrison Bader. He looked pretty good last year. He's at 22.2. He's a great defensive player. So he's going to cost you a little bit. Jimmy Productions, do you think the Nationals become playoff contenders? I think so. I think they'll make their way back. Jimmy Productions, one more time. Will they win another World Series? You're 18 years old. Well, what's the average lifespan? What is it, like 82? So you got, a good 64 more years? I think there's a good chance they'll win one. But Jimmy Productions, most likely you're going to make it past 100. Because I see how consistent you are. You're always on my stream. So I think you're going to make it a long time, my friend. So, yes, I think the Nationals win one more. Will my Red Sox win one more before I croak? We'll have to wait and see. Chester, what's going on? Yes, I agree. Yes. At the end of the day, baseball is a business. Yeah, I know. You got to remember there's the feelings that go with it. You got to remember there are people at the same time. But at the end of the day, it is a business, and that's very true. Baseball sports talk. What would a Kiermaier trade to the Phillies look like? Looking at this, I think he wouldn't cost all that much. I don't think he would cost all that much. He would make some sense for the Phillies. Good defensive outfielder. They could really use some improvement in that department. Kiermaier. He's at negative 2.8. So it's not going to cost. It's, the Rays maybe pay some of his contract and, get some kind of a prospect. It's not going to cost you a lot. John Sullivan. Where could Jason Hayward get traded to? Oh, that's like, I thought for a second, I wonder if I don't know, this wouldn't make any sense though. I thought at one point, could the Padres and the, Cubs just exchange bad contracts? But no, that wouldn't work just because, well, the Padres want to get rid of that payroll. Jason Hayward, I don't know. The one thing with you would trade him to a team that needs prospects. So that's what Chaim Bloom likes to do. Chaim Bloom will take a contract if he's going to get some prospects for it. The problem with Jason Hayward is he's got a lot of time left on that deal. He's not a free agent until 2024. He's got this year and next year. He's got 46 or 44 more million. So, good grief. I don't know, man. I don't know where he goes. Let me go. What were his numbers last year? They weren't good. 214, 280. Oh my God. What the heck happened to Jason Hayward? Why is he so bad? Oh, he had a concussion last season. So, that was late last season, though. He hasn't been good at all. Well, actually, 2020, he actually hit pretty well. His on-base percentages have been okay. He had a 392 on base in 2020. That was over 50 games. It's actually not bad. 251 in 2019. 270 in 2018. He's looked all right, but the power's not there. He's definitely not worth the contract. Let me go to his value. So his AAV has been what, 23 million? Payroll. Yeah, 23 million. If you look at his value, he signed that contract when? When was that? And after 2015, I believe. So yeah. So his first season. Look, his AAV has been 23 million. He was worth 7.7 in 2016, 8.6 in 2017. His best season was in 2018 with the Cubs. He was only worth 16.7 million. 15 in 2019. 2020, if he kept on that pace, he would have had a lot of value in 2020. Unfortunately, it was a short season. So he was only worth 2.2 million this past year. It's been a terrible contract. So to me, a team that would take Jason Hayward is a team that needs prospects and but would also, they could use some right field help in the short term. Let's go take a look here. I feel like there actually might be a team for Jason Hayward. Right field. Let's look at the projections. Don't forget, he could also play, he can play left field as well, right? Actually, he only played right field last year. Let me go to his defense. Does he only play right? I'm sure he can play left too. But let me look at the other positions that he's played. He's played a lot of center field for the Cubs. Well, not a lot, but he has played center field. Funny enough, he has not played left field. He has never played left field. Huh. That's interesting. He's never played left field in the major leagues. So, but he's played center. He actually played over 600 innings in center field in 2019. Anyway, but let's go to... where was I here? Here we go. So, who are some teams that could use some prospects? Well, you got the Reds, right? You got the Reds. Could they use some more prospects? Let's go to the board. Let's take a look. So there's some teams down here that, teams that are still looking to compete, but they need prospects as well. They could really use some replenishment. Hey, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, maybe the Nationals. Could the Nationals be a fit? If you look at the Nationals right now, where they could use some prospects. Looking at the depth chart. Obviously you got Juan Soto. He's not going anywhere. And you got Yadiel Hernandez. You could put Juan Soto in left, and you could put Jason Hayward in right, and then you could maybe do something like this where the Cubs will have to give up some prospects to match the value or to make up that negative equity. So let me go here. So Hayward's at a negative 31.7. So the Cubs, they could essentially, I mean, they could part if they're really determined to get him off of their payroll. You could do something here. You could, I don't know, or like, I'm just throwing stuff out here. I'm not like serious, but like, I don't know, Alzolay. Maybe give them Alzolay and cash. So 15. So, I mean, at that point, I mean, the Cubs, you could, I mean, let's just say, how much is he getting this year? He's getting, what was it? 22? I believe it was 22. Let's just say they paid his salary for this year, $22 million. Let's bump it up from 15 to 22. So, for the Cubs here, in this situation, if you are okay with giving up Alzolay, I mean, you would be able to get something back. I don't think they would give up Keyboom, but you could do something here. You could get a few prospects. Vertigo to the Nationals. And you can give up a few lower level prospects. Maybe like a De La Rosa. Maybe like Matt Cronin or something like that. Where was I? Here we go. Let's take a look. Let's do minors. Let's do. So you could do De La Rosa and maybe Cronin. I don't know. Maybe something like that, where at least you're getting a young pitcher in Alzolay, but you're taking on Hayward. But at least the Cubs would pay some of that contract. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. But yeah, everyone. I think I'm going to get out of here, everyone. I think that's all I'm going to do for tonight. I actually do have to wake up early tomorrow morning. But I have a couple of things to do tomorrow morning. But hey, I appreciate you all coming out for the first Friday night Q&A. I mean, I might have to keep doing these because we had over 100 people tonight. I honestly didn't even think we were going to get over 50. I thought we were going to maybe have a few of you come by. It's Friday night. But hey, I ended up having a few of you out here tonight, so I appreciate it. The first ever Friday night Q&A. I might have to keep doing these. Maybe I'll see if I keep doing them on a Friday. Maybe I'll do it on a Wednesday or something like that. But hey, I enjoy doing these. These are pretty fun. It was just nice to kind of hang out and just see what you guys had to ask. But everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank you for stopping by tonight. Have yourself a good weekend. Expect more live stuff next week. Expect some content next week. Pre-recorded content, not live. So I got a lot of stuff set up. So be on the lookout, everyone. But I'm going to get out of here. Have yourself a good night. Have yourself a good weekend. And I'll talk to you next time.